wake up. I know you're out there, Father. You came back to save me, and I won't let you down! I know you're kind. You think you can waltz in and just take our planet. But you forgot one thing. I'm my father's son! I'm so proud of you.
What's the word, y'all? This is Average Z Fighter, and today we're going to be making the Sparking Zero community wish list. This is going to be all the stuff that we want to be in this next update for DLC 3 for Sparking Zero and updates in the future. But first, let's get into this prayer. Father in heaven, thank you for another day. Jesus, I just thank you for the ability to see another sunrise, make another video, talk to the community again. Thank you, Lord. Thank you that you woke all of us up today. Thank you, Lord Jesus, just for your goodness, your fresh grace and mercy that's new every single day for us, Lord. Whatever comes our way, we'll be able to take it because you give us all that we need to do all that we need to do today. Father, I just pray that if there's anybody who doesn't know you, God, that they will just be able to get to know you, that you'll show yourself to them in a way that is real to them, in a way that they will have no doubt that it was you, only you could do something like this. Father, I ask you to cover us in the full armor of God to withstand the wiles of the enemy. Help us to submit to God, to resist the devil, and he will flee in Jesus' mighty name. And just let this be the start of something new between your relationship and someone else's relationship with you today. Help us just to build our relationship with you, God, in Jesus' name. Amen. So I want this to be a kind of exhaustive list of all of the things that we want or that we would want in future updates and the next DLC update for Sparking Zero. Really, I'm looking for characters and stuff is cool too, but I'm really looking more so for mechanics that will make what we already have playable. This thing has 200 some characters, I think, or I think it started with 180 and then we had these 2 DLCs if you count all the transformations and stuff. So we got a whole bunch of characters, and adding more characters is cool, but it doesn't really matter if you're adding characters and you can't play it because the netcode is bad, or you can't play it because there are no appropriate defensive balances in the game. So really a lot of just mechanical stuff that we want to change. I'm gonna be taking from a lot of stuff that was in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and I want you guys to comment below in this video what else I might be missing, what else needs to be added to the game, what things aren't in the game that could be really cool. From minute to major changes, I want to hear it all. I'm gonna share this to a few Discords as well so other creators can comment. I'm an optimistic guy, so I'm really believing that if we get enough comments, if enough people if this gains enough traction, yada yada, all of that stuff, that Bandai will see it, and even if they don't respond, even if they don't acknowledge it, they will make the changes in the patches to come. So with that being said, let's get into the list. All right, I'm gonna separate these into 3 different categories for this wish list. I'm gonna call it comebacks. Is gonna be the first one. These are things that were in other iterations of Budokai Tenkaichi games. It's gonna be reverts, meaning these mechanics or whatever it is were once in Sparking Zero, but they got taken out because of patches, shadow patches, all of that type of stuff. And then the last one is gonna be add-ons. Things that I'm either not sure if they were in previous games or I know that they weren't, but it would be nice to have them in future updates for this game. So the first thing I need to see key sickness. I understand that a lot of us, we're here during the BT3 days and before, and so we know what that stuff is, but a lot of people don't know. They weren't privy to the games back then. They were too young or whatever. So what key sickness is basically, it would be a reduction. It's a debuff. So it's a reduction in how fast you're able to charge ki. And it would be primarily used, but not only these things, but primarily used after a character used in Instant Spark, after image, and I think a few other, or after image strike, and then a few other skills. And so basically the reason why is this so important? This was so important and integral to the game because if you had key sickness, it was basically a risk. There's a trade-off to using, let's just use Instant Spark, for example. So take yourself back to the base game. You go back to the base game of Sparking Zero and people would get 3 stock and they would just Insta Spark. They would knock you back and they would Insta Spark. There was no risk. So if they Insta Spark and then they didn't get to use their ultimate or whatever, and let's say you were whooping them while they were in sparking mode, you're building up their stock meter or their skill point meter. You're building that up, and by the time you get done fighting them, then they can knock you back and do it again. There's no penalty, right? If you have key sickness, basically the way that it will work, if I'm not mistaken, is you would have, it's like a super reduction in how fast you can charge key, which obviously you need key not to get your guard broken or guard crushed to the point of exhaustion. You needed to be able to shoot key blast. In this game, you needed to be able to dash. You needed to be able to dragon dash, short dash and dragon dash, all of that type of stuff. And so obviously to do supers and rush attacks as well, you need it. And so it would reduce how fast you could charge key, and it wouldn't go away until you charge your key up to max, right? So we got 5 bars of key. You got to charge it all the way up at that slow speed and avoid your opponent and continue to fight. So there was a trade-off. It's like, okay, I can use this super powerful Insta Spark move to use my ultimate or to do whatever, but if I don't win, if I don't get the damage that I need to get, I'm not going to be able to charge after this. A lot of people think that it's skill if you can get off an Insta Spark, but it's not just that. I think key sickness, it encouraged fight IQ, right? When do I use this Insta Spark? Not just because I'm able to knock them away. Like, is it worth it for me to do this? You know what I mean? It just created more of a skill gap, which we definitely need in Sparking Zero. So, and the same thing with After Image Strike. So again, somebody like Vegito, you could use After Image Strike, but after that, then you're not going to be able to charge any key. Imagine getting your guard broken because you can't charge key that fast, and then you're going to get hit with an ultimate or whatever. So there was just a really good trade-off for key sickness. So I need that to come back to this game. It's only right. The next thing that I want to see is After Image Strike puts you in front of your opponent in the mid-range, so right out of striking distance of your opponent. So if you go back to BT3, whenever somebody would use After Image Strike, it does not give you a free reset and put you behind your opponent for 10 seconds or however long it lasted. It puts you in front of your opponent, facing your opponent, and it basically resets neutral. I believe that's what it should do. I don't think that After Image, just the one-time After Image should do that. I think putting you behind your opponent, I think that takes skill to use it properly. But After Image Strike, right now, it's broken. There's no key sickness. There's no risk-reward ratio or situation where you would have to use that. You just pop it. And that's why Super Vegito is so broken right now, and all the other After Image characters. Even Pan, even all of them, they don't do that much damage, but you just get reset after reset after reset. And then imagine you're throwing standing key blast resets into it or sweep resets into it. So After Image Strike needs to put you in front of your opponent in the mid-range like it did in the games before, and just reset neutral instead of putting you behind your opponent for 10 seconds to where they can't do anything at all. Even if you super counter, I mean, they got to do something. Either have it to where if you super counter, then that doesn't automatically put you behind your opponent, but I don't agree with that, because then that would change the regular After Image and the wild sense and all of that stuff too. So next up, what I want to see is from the old games, I want to see that each character only gets 2 knockback follow-ups. So again, if I'm not mistaken, in BT3, it used to be like, if you knock back your opponent, you get 1 Dragon Dash follow-up and you get 1 Teleport follow-up, and then you get a Lightning Strike. I need to see that come back to the game, because with normal 3-bar characters, they get 2. So you get, 1 of each. You'll get, and that's the way that I think that it should be, right? So you can get either 2 Teleport follow-ups or 2 Dragon Dash follow-ups. And, that's cool to me. That's fine. But when you get to other characters like fusions, the 7 DP or 8 DP characters, then they get 3, some of them get 4, and then if you go into sparking and you just do it, you get even more than that. The problem with that is, one, these characters are already stronger than the other characters, so they're doing more base damage just off the hits alone. And then on top of that, when you go into sparking mode, you can do 5 or 6 of these hits. And with the netcode in this game not being that good, no dedicated servers as far as I understand, it's hard to super counter if you don't have key, especially in sparking mode. You can just keep getting knocked back. So imagine somebody having legendary Super Saiyan Broly in sparking mode and you just getting knocked back. Like, that's 2 bars of health right there. It's just ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense. So I think everything should revert back to 1 teleport and 1 dragon dash. And also, I think it should be 1 teleport and 1 dragon dash knockback follow up, because it's going to stop people from only doing the dragon dash ones that, don't have they don't have a set timing. So it's hard to know when the person is going to do it, especially with fusions, bro. Like, that was meta for a while when there were more people on the game. A lot of people were doing that because it was very hard to combat. And then if you, I'm on PlayStation, if you press triangle, then you could reset them doing that. It's just ridiculous. So it should just go back to just 2 follow-ups. I think that encourages more skill, more neutral gameplay. All right, returning to the games from previous iterations, I need this in the next update. Like, period. Button mash recovery. So if you don't know, before in the games you used to be able to press square or press any of the buttons and you could recover from being knocked back from a gut punch, from a sweep, any type of stun. You could recover faster just by mashing the buttons. Why is this mechanic so important? One, it's a standard mechanic in any fighting game. Well, not this one obviously, but any other good fighting game, there's a recovery mechanic. The problem with this game, why this is a problem, is because right here, I dragon dash behind him because there's a set time that he recovers, especially if you have the recovery assist on. All you have to do is time it, and once you get it, there's nothing that your opponent can do unless they get a first frame super counter. And that's just not a good enough defensive mechanic to me. I think that button mash recovery is going to nerf all resets. So I think resets either need to leave the game, or I think they need to add button mash recovery, because it's just ridiculous that all you got to do is knock somebody away, wait 1 to 2 seconds, then dragon dash behind them, and then you get another free combo. And then if they super counter you and you have more ki than them because you've been beating them up and your ki goes up while every punch, then you knock them, or you win the vanish battle, and then you knock them away again, and then you dragon dash again. It's just a ridiculous loop, and it encourages things like wild sense jail, which is you put on wild sense, you hitting your opponent in the back, and then you knock them away, you dragon dash behind them, and you still have wild sense. And then if they super counter you, then you knock them away again, you hit wild sense again, you dragon dash reset them, or dragon dash loop them again, and it's just a cycle. But if you have recovery, then you will recover before your opponent can dragon dash behind you, or you can delay the recovery. It just adds mix up. So we need that in the game, period. All right, the next thing I want to see is chainable short dashes. So I believe in the beta version of the game, the one that they were showing us in all the trailers and stuff, and the game is still a beta right now, which is sad. In the beta version of the game, quote unquote, they had chainable short dashes. So basically there is some end lag to when you short dash, and you can't just keep mashing X or whatever your short dash button is and link them together seamlessly. I need that to be in the game, and the reason why is because we just need better movement options in this game. We absolutely do. I personally don't think this is how it was in BT3. I don't think that short dash should cost you any ki at all. I don't think that it should, and it's just going to add movement to the game. It's going to add better mix-ups. It's going to add just cancels and certain things like that you can't currently do right now. So I need that to come back. That's the next thing, dash cancels. So I'm pretty sure they did add a dash cancel into the game from the last update, which I really like. So basically, if you knock your opponent back and you press X or whatever your follow-up button is to do a Dragon Dash follow-up, if you press X again, if you just press it, it'll cancel that dash. That is a Dragon Dash cancel by pressing X. There are also other ways, if I'm remembering correctly from BT3, that you can do this, which is you can ascend to Dragon Dash cancel, you can descend to Dragon Dash cancel, you can short dash to cancel. And I need really the ascension and descend mechanics to come back into the game, because it just creates, again, more mix-up, more unpredictability, and that's what you need in this game. If you think about it, you can block high, block low, block mid, all of that stuff, and you gotta read your opponent, and if they start playing predictably, then you know when to vanish, then you know what they're gonna do next. Like Goku, most people, every time his flying kicks are on his third string. So if they get you with the first two, then you block high on their third hit. And that just comes from fight IQ and from knowing the game. And that is the death of this game, is predictability. That's how you lose your matches. So if adding more dash cancels and stuff like that just creates more mix-ups, and it creates just more skillful gameplay. So something I would like to see from returning games, which I doubt this is ever going to come back, but it would be smash cancels. So you can smash up, down, you could do a mid smash, you could smash left and right as well. Basically, if you, for PlayStation, hold square and then hit a direction on the stick, you can decide which way you're going to smash your opponent. I believe it was BT2 they had where you could cancel your smashes. So you would start the smash and then you would cancel it, and basically that creates just more mix-ups in the game. Your opponent thinks that you're about to smash them, so they're blocking a certain way, and then you just don't. Let's say looks like I'm about to do an up smash and I cancel it and then just do a sweep instead. You know what I mean? Looks like I'm gonna do a down smash and then I do a sweep instead. That's just really good mix up, and it creates just more interesting gameplay, more ways to express yourself, and it really just creates ways where people can make play styles that differentiate themselves from other players. Because right now, everybody's doing the same thing. It's gut punch, dash backwards, short dash back forwards, holding a charge key blast to reset, sweep reset, double sweep, into hard knockdown, going to sparking. It's all the same. Something minor that I would like to see come back from BT3 as well would be the bump mechanic. So Grandmaster Hawk talked about this, and basically what it is I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, if you're using a Goku or something like that and you knock somebody away and you use instant transmission, you're behind them, but they're still flying past you even though they hit you. That doesn't make sense. The bump mechanic basically was like when you hit a barrier, you hit a wall, you hit a character, then it would stop the person from flying, as opposed to them keep flying past you, or literally the animation of them still flying is still going while they're up against your chest or something like that. They would bump into you and then you could start a combo. That just makes sense. It's just logical sense. It's literally physics. We need that back in the game. I'm gonna put two of these into one. I don't think you should be able to recover from the ceiling or the barriers. I think if you're getting knocked and you're falling, you should just keep falling, as opposed to, because it's an invisible barrier. It's not supposed to be there. It's only there because of the limitations of the game and what they can do. And so if somebody knocks you back and you hit the ceiling, you should just keep sliding along the barrier like you're falling, instead of being able to, Dragon Dash back like it was actually a physical barrier. It's not supposed to work like that. So they should go back to how it was in BT3. And then I don't like that you can still recover while you're in your exhausted state. So let's say somebody has less than 1 bar of ki and I break their guard. They're in the exhausted state. If I continuously do a charge lift strike, it will keep breaking their guard. If they have I don't know if it's just indefinitely, but if they have the guard assist, it'll keep breaking their guard, but your guard is broken. You should just fall. Or if you sweep them, they should just fall straight down. But what they will do is they still recover from that, even though they're still in the exhausted state. It doesn't make any sense, and it shouldn't be like that in this game. All right, next, what I need from the old games, I need the ascend and descend speed to be sped up. in the step in range specifically. So if you're not close to your opponent and you're ascending up or ascending down without doing the dragon dash, ascend and descend, the speed is good. But as soon as you get close to your opponent, you go up at turtle speed. Like it's like you slower than molasses. And why? It makes that mechanic unusable. So for example, if you down smash your opponent and they hit the ground and they're stuck there and you're trying to go down to pick them up, it takes you like 2 to 3 seconds to even get down to them because you're in the step-in barrier and it's just so slow. That shouldn't be in the game. It just doesn't make any sense. All right, so in this game we have, when you're on the ground and you do a jump key blast, certain characters have different style of key blast or different type of animations that's really cool, or they'll shoot this flurry of key blast. I need that to come back to this game. It was in BT3 and it's still in the game if you're on the ground and you jump, but in BT3 it was being able to just hit the ascend button and then clicking your key blast button and you would have that animation. So for example, Goku, when he jumps off the ground in Sparking Zero, if you hold the charge key blast after he jumps, he does a Destructo Disc type of key blast. In BT3, all you have to do is hit the ascend button and hold the key blast button and he will do that. He doesn't have to be on the ground. That needs to come back. It just creates more mix-ups again and just mechanics that were already in the game that should be in this one, if that makes sense. Next up, I don't like the way that the camera works in this game necessarily. If you just look at the gameplay, you're always locked onto your opponent. You see them at all times. And I just don't think that we need that. I think that we should be able to look around, look left and right, and it's just not necessary, that's all. And I think that would fix some of the tracking issues. As far as they fixed the tracking in this game, kind of. It's much better than it was, around the January time. But the vertical tracking and stuff is still pretty bad, and I think it's because the camera is locked on. All right, here's one thing that I really love to see in the other game, and it just makes sense. I'm actually gonna put these two together. All right, rush supers should not hit when the opponent is laying on the ground. It just doesn't make any sense, for one, because all of the rush super animations start with the character upright. So that just doesn't make physical sense, for one, and for two, it's cheap. If somebody's on the ground, there's nothing that they can do. People say, oh, they could vanish. And nobody vanishes that when you're laying on the ground, especially if you're like stun locked to the ground and you can't even get up for a second. Yeah, that needs to be out of the game. That's how it was in BT3. If you would do a rush super on somebody, whether it's a teleport rush or whatever, while they're on the ground, it just wouldn't do anything. You would just use your key up. And that stopped people from doing raw supers and being cheesy. Another thing is melee hits used to take priority over the rush super. So basically, you'll see nowadays that people will be punching and they'll just step back and do a rush super. And if it's not some type of smash hit, even if it is, like it won't knock them out of the rush super animation. But in the old games, it used to. And that encourages people to actually set them up. So it's different if somebody hits you with a gut punch and you're keeled over and somebody uses the rush super. You have to vanish it. But it's so dumb if, I'm in a punch animation and they hit me with a rush super. How? You should have got punched in your face like you did in the old games. So that needs to come back. Every barrage style attack needs to be sped up and harder to vanish. So I know y'all know almost every Vegeta has these full power key blast or whatever. I know Gohan, the Teen Gohan, he has it in his base form. Vegeta has it in most of his forms. Cell also has the barrage death beam. Frieza has the barrage death beam. It used to be way more useful in the other games. What's his name? Baby Vegeta base form has it with the finger, barrage things. Whis has it as well. They just so easy to vanish. It just doesn't make sense, and they come out so slow. It's like they babyfied everything in this game. It's like they just they wanted to make everything easier, and for what? Like, difficulty promotes skill. It increases the skill gap, and there needs to be a skill gap. That doesn't mean that you can't play. but let the competitive people be competitive. I've got 2 more for the comeback section. The first one is the AI difficulty needs to be increased. So for the legendary warrior thing with Broly was there, they added a difficulty. They need to add that difficulty just to the game in general, right? So it goes weak, normal, hard, and super, or something like that. They need to add another difficulty. In BT3, they were way more difficult. And in this day and age, like everybody wants to use AI, we should have an AI that is able to analyze our gameplay. If we're running a set with the AI, like by the second to third match, they should have our gameplay down unless we're really good with mix-ups and stuff like that. Like the AI should just be better in this game. And then the last one is they need to go back to how super armor worked. It needs to be DP based. So Grandmaster Hawk talked about how basically when the super armor on certain characters, like certain characters in sparking mode, that super armor specifically. So Bardock has super armor, for example. Majin Vegeta has super armor when he goes into sparking, for example. And it doesn't make sense that Super Saiyan 3 Goku is not able to break through Majin Vegeta's super armor, even though he's stronger than him. And the same thing is with Super Saiyan 4, and the same thing is with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Like, he can't break through it until almost the 5th hit, almost the 4th hit, and it just doesn't make sense. It should just be based on your DP, how long it takes you to break through the super armor. That simple. All right, I hope you guys are sticking with me. This is the next category is gonna be reverts. So things I want to revert back from more base forms of Sparking Zero. We saw it before and they took it out. These last 2 lists are much shorter than the first one, so you guys stick with me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Add anything that I forgot. I want to see Sonic Sway during a guard stun. That needs to come back because they really nerfed defense when they took that out. I love that you can't block in the middle of combos anymore. You can't perception in the middle of a combo. That's great. But during the guard stun, you should still be able to Sonic Sway. Don Coolio just made a video before, and it's been like that in all the rest of the games. And that wasn't a problem before. It was actually one of the main things that you can do when somebody has flying kicks on the first string. If you're blocking high, then you could just hit perception because it's 3 hits or more that are coming, and then you would be able to get them into a Sonic Sway and reset neutral. That needs to come back. Number 2 on things that need to be reverted back to how they were is combo startup speed. So when they were trying to balance the tracking after it got out of whack with the second update, they nerfed how fast combos start. They were messing with the input delay. As far as, you know, the knowledge that I have and just the differences that I felt and what other people have said and what I've seen just from past gameplay of other creators versus now. When you press, you know, your melee button to when it actually comes out, they kind of nerfed the startup speed. I needed to go back because input delay is already really bad when you're fighting somebody who's lagging, and it just doesn't make sense that you would slow that down. And then even with that, on top of the fact that just some characters, like the bigger characters or the clunky combo characters like Kid Gohan, like base form Teen Gohan, like any of the Brolys, any of the big characters, they swing so slow. The bigger characters, they swing so slow to the point where you're not supposed to be able to perception in the middle of a combo anymore. You can still do that with the Brolys. You can still do that with other characters as well that just hit so slow. Somebody else, as an example, who hits slow is going to be base form Super Boo. Not Boo Tanks, not Buhan, but just the regular Super Boo. He hits so slow, and when they took out the multiple smash key blast, it nerfed their mid-range abilities, so you have to just kind of fight straight up, and they hit so slow. If you're fighting somebody like a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or a Kid Buu, it's going to be very hard, so they got to bring that back. Next up is going to be, I think they need to expand the frames of the super counters. So to be honest, I think super countering is in a good place when the connection is good, when the netcode is good. It's in a good place. I can super counter pretty easily, especially the step in hit and the knockaways. That's really where you just got to be able to super counter. But when the netcode is off, it's dang near impossible to super counter. And that mixed with the fact that there are still infinite key blast loops and dragon dash loops in this game at this point, is dang near impossible. So they need to, I think it's a 4-frame window for super countering right now. They need to expand that if they're not going to add button mash recovery and some of the other things that I said. But this is a very secondary solution to me. If they just added the button mash recovery, then I think this would really fix a lot of the issues. This is probably the most important thing that I need to see is going to be the button mash recovery for the next update. Next up, for things that need to be reverted back, I want to see Instant Spark go back to 3 skill points instead of 4. That's just how it's been in all the rest of the games, and they were great. The caveat to this is that we need key sickness if this happens, but we should be able to use our skills. You know what I mean? You should just be able to use it. I don't use Instant Spark. I don't use any characters that have Instant Spark. Sparking I need to get better at using Sparking. It's just not really my thing. I would rather just fight one-on-one, hands. That's what I like. That's the kind of the school that I come from. But there's something about just legacy in games that I feel like Sparking Zero really left behind. Legacy is just very important. You leave an inheritance for your kids. When you marry somebody, when a man marries a woman, you give her your last name. Legacy is just important. So why would I change something when the recipe was dang near amazing before? So I would love to see that come back. I definitely want to see, I kind of just touched on this before, I want to see multiple smash key blast return. So something that used to be cool, Christian Seda, he would start off his offense with, Super Buhan, Boo Tanks. He was started off with multiple key blasts. So a slow moving key blast, and then you could dash and shoot another one while one's coming at you. You got to watch out for another one, and then you can drag and dash behind your opponent to start your offense. And they would have to, have some type of skill to get around that, whether they drag and dash up or just drag and dash to get around it or something like that. I really like that. I don't think that should be deflectable. I already talked about that, but just shooting one is just kind of not enough. Not enough, again, mix up and variety in the game when you only shoot one. All right, we got 2 more on the things I want reverted back to how they were in one form or another of the Sparking Zero updates. And that's going to be the fall down speed for non-flight characters. Yajirobe, Master Roshi, Hercule. I want to see the fall down speed. On my wish list, I would love to see it go back to how it was in the base game. They buffed those characters by allowing them to fall down much faster. It just doesn't make sense to me why you touch that. Nobody was complaining about that. It wasn't bad at all. They just increased the fall down speed, and they buffed those characters a lot. To be honest, it's hard to do sweeps on them or anything if you're not actively comboing them like right in the moment. Then they fall so fast. It's hard to really hit them with anything besides a super. And that encourages raw supers and stuff. I just don't like it. So I would love to see that go back to how it was in the base game. I think it was dang near perfect. And then last but not least, this is one of the most important things. Actually, I'm going to add another one into it too that I almost forgot. I want to see a slight change to the DP win condition. So right now, if I'm not mistaken, and this is after DLC 2, so Daima DLC Pack 1, after that update, they changed the win condition for DP again, and it is something like your health percentage times your DP. Now, that's pretty good. The only problem with that is, based on what I learned from Al Woohoo, shout out to him, is that if you have a character like base Broly from Super, or any of the Brolys, or more specifically base form Gohan from Super, who can go from a 4 DP all the way to a 9 DP. So when they factor in the win condition, it would be, for example, it would be however much health he has times his DP, which is 4. But when you transform to a 9 DP character, it is 9 DP times however much health he has. And so Al Woohoo was saying that factors around to somewhere about 8,000 extra DP or 8,000 extra health points per DP that you gained in that transformation, which with that superhero Gohan going from 4 to 9 DP, that's 5. So 8,000 times 5. And they factor that in with the win condition, but they don't factor that in where if you transform and you lose that Beast Gohan, it's like you're only losing 4 DP, if that makes sense. So you get the benefit if you keep him and you win, but you don't, there's no penalty if you transform and you lose him as a character. So I would love to see just the transformations weighted in just a little bit more on the penalty side, because that would make DP a little bit more fair. I mean, I've seen people, you're fighting them and you're winning and you beat them, you know, in the hand-to-hand, and you kill their characters and they just run away and try and transform real quick right before the timer runs out, because it's in their favor if they transform towards the win condition when the timer's about to run out, but not if they lose that character that they transformed. All right, y'all, we are in the home stretch. This is the last little list that I have for my wish list. I told you guys I wanted it to be fairly exhaustive, but I'm sure there are things that I missed, and I would love for you guys to add some stuff, and I would just love to get this to Bandai, whether it's in some of the Twitter comments or the things that they're posting or whatever, man. I'm really optimistic and I really hope that they see it. This last part is going to be called add-ons. So these are things that I don't believe that I've seen in past games, past Tenkaichi games, or in past patches of Sparking Zero. So let's get to it. First things first, we need new stages, new maps, whatever you want to call them, new arenas. We need that in this game. This game needs a breath of fresh air, right? More characters, that's cool. It doesn't last that long, though. To be honest, I haven't even played Mini Vegeta, and he's probably a really good character. I haven't played him, and obviously I have the DLC, but I have not played him at all. I have not played Majin Buu at all. I have not touched him. Zero proficiency on either one of those characters. On any of the Vegetas. I ain't played Super Saiyan 3 or nothing. It's just lackluster. I don't care about that stuff. I want to be able to let my ki blast come out when I press triangle. Let my punches come out when I press square. Like vanish when I hit the vanish button. That's what I want to do. It's that simple. And I could care less about these new characters that they keep putting in there. I mean, I would love to see more OG Dragon Ball characters. All of the characters from BT3, I want to see them in there. But that's not a replacement. That it's just not, doesn't take priority right now. So we need new maps. The second thing is I would love to see the auto recovery, auto guard, all of that stuff taken out of the game. Why do I say that? It's because modern day games are fostering an environment of like participation trophies, right? They want to make everything so easy for you, from Pokemon games to Call of Duty with the aimbot, and you know, I know a lot of that's cheating, but the other stuff that they have, all of that, to auto guard, auto recovery. Stop doing that. Let people learn how to play the game. Let them actually get good. Let them actually get good. Like in the Pokemon games, I don't know when they started doing this. I think it was like Gen 5 or 6 or something like that. They would start giving you like your rival, whatever starter Pokemon you picked. If I picked the water type, then my rival would pick the type that was strong against me. Now they pick the type that's weak. That's weak to me now. And they've done that every single one since then. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Give me a challenge. That's what I played the game for, not to say I win. Like, just because you get a win screen doesn't mean the game was fun. And I really feel like Bandai needs to understand that. All gaming companies, just because I win does not mean that the game was fun or worth the money that I paid for it. I would love to see 2v2 or 3v3 DP mode. I've noticed that DP is super laggy, and I believe that it's because of how many characters the gaming software has to keep track of, the skill points, the ki, the health of all of these characters. And I think it's just too labor intensive for the software, for the coding or whatever it is. And I think it would be better if they had a 2v2 or 3v3 mode. I think it would feel a little bit more like singles, less lag, and we wouldn't have to worry about going to timer or going all the way into the end of the time and going to the win condition, because there's less characters, less switching, and you would just die. I like that idea. It would be awesome if they could have it where with the 2v2, instead of me playing both characters, I could have one of my homies be the other character, and it's basically like, you know, 2 teams with 2 people each, 2 different people, and I play one character, my boy or my homegirl plays another character, and, you know, we play like that, kind of like Tenkaichi Tag Team. It would be dope to do 2v2 or 3v3 like that. I really think that could breathe life into this game. It could actually bring a big part of the player base back, because when you got to fight people all the time, especially for the people who've been off this game, they don't want to get back on, because this game is not that easy to get into in the first place. Like, if you don't know anything about BT3, you're going to get cooked by the CPU. So having to fight against your homies is just like, after 1 or 2 matches, like, all right, like, you better than me, bro. But playing with them, okay, I got the best player in the world on my team. That would be dope. Sparking Zero needs dedicated servers. We already don't get rollback netcode, and I can understand this game is very complex. It is a 3D arena fighter, so I understand why. You know, it's a pure 3D arena fighter, so I understand why it's hard to have rollback netcode. But you can have dedicated servers. There's no way that my game should be crashing dang near every day around the same time. And I live in like a major city. You know what I'm saying? That makes no sense. There are other games that don't have rollback netcode that do just fine, especially with how time-based this game is. We really need dedicated servers. We need it just to be better, so we can be able to do what we paid to be able to do in this game. We need the ability to forfeit matches in the game and not have to rage quit. Especially in DP. DP lasts so long, and if I'm fighting somebody who's lagging and I got 4 characters that they have to go through and kill, that's like 6 or 7 ultimates that they have to do. I gotta wait for them to charge. They gotta have the skill points. Like, I'm just gonna rage quit. It's not really rage quit. I'm just gonna close app. That's what I'm gonna do. So give us the ability to forfeit the matches instead, because going through matches where not only is it delayed, but it's choppy for 10 to 15 minutes if somebody got 5 characters and I got 5 characters. Yeah, come on, Bandai. This goes without saying, but everybody knows that we need more accessories. We need accessories. We don't really have any. We need accessories. We need more fits in the game. There should be no outfits that were in canon, manga, or anime episodes that are not in the game. It just shouldn't be there. Give us more. Bandai, you guys give all these other games, all of these outfits, the new game that y'all just released for Dragon Ball. I don't know how to pronounce it or like what it's called, but y'all gave them fits, and Sparking Zero, we get nothing. Like, we get outfits that look exactly the same, that give different skills to characters. Come on, aesthetics matter. People care about this. So come on. I would love to see customizable supers, right? So if I am playing base Goku from Super, I should be able to do all the moves that any of the other Gokus could do. And it's as simple as letting the damage scaling be exactly the same. You guys did this stuff already in the story mode. I can't tell you how many Gokus special was a Super Kamehameha, when it's not like that with the actual characters. Give us the ability to customize our supers. That would just create, again, some versatility, some individualism in the game. It would set people apart. We want to have some form of distinction. You know, if I want my Goku to be able to do his meteor smash and then be able to do a spirit bomb, like the OG Spirit Bomb Ultimate as well, or if I want to do it like a Super Saiyan with Kaioken, I should be able to do that. We know that you have the ability to do it, so just give us the ability to customize our characters the way that we want to customize them. Something else that I feel like we really need, we need Vegeta to have flying kicks. Like, every Vegeta should have flying kicks. Dang near actually every Goku except for one has flying kicks in his strings. And Vegeta doesn't barely have any, and he barely has any rolling hammers. Vegeta is a better technician than Goku is. And that needs to be shown as far as technically fighting, the technical skill. That needs to be shown in these games because Vegeta is not that viable, no cap. I just got a couple more minutes, so I'm just going to run through these pretty fast. I would love to see a DP team boost based on the characters that you have. So if certain characters who actually fought in the anime are together on the same team, I would love to see just a team DP boost. That'd be pretty cool. I would love to see a DP home advantage. So if you have, like, if Namekians are fighting on Namek, then they get stronger there. That would be pretty decent for me to see. I want to see sweep resets gone. I want to see all resets gone, just to be honest, but that's only if they don't bring back button mash recovery. And I want to see hard knocks gone too. To hard knock from way up high and then going to sparking is just too strong of a mode for people to go into for that to be in the game, in my opinion. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Let's make this the community wish list for what we want for Sparking Zero. Share this with somebody. Subscribe, follow, like, do all of that stuff. And let's pray that Bandai will listen to us and continue to make this game the game that we always thought it was going to be. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, this is Average Z Fighter. Peace.
Now I'll no longer be able to see your helpless little face.